All right, hey YouTube, what's going on? He says we're live. Give it a second here. Let everything warm up, see if we can get signal out to the unknown far reaches of the country out there. See what everybody's up to. See, hopefully the madness hasn't taken over everybody's areas. But yeah, we want to just check in here and wow, if things don't match, they definitely rhyme. With the latest goings on. But we've got some winter kicked into gear here, which was, I don't know, I wouldn't say unexpected, but it was more than expected. Maybe that's the way to put it. Uh, Weather guy said, we might get a little bit of snow uh, down below, 6,000 feet down the valley level and stuff like that. A foot of snow later, a foot of snow later, we got full on winter going on around here, which is good. We needed the weather, the snow in particular. I guess the weather guy said we hadn't had significant precipitation since August 20th, something like that, which is really, really rare. Usually we get October rain and even September. But we had been really dry, and then we just get a dumping of snow here before winter like this. We definitely needed it. Um, but it definitely hit us hard. Like winter came out of nowhere. It was like 80 degrees 10 days ago, and then all of a sudden this rolled in and just whap. By the weekend, it was all over us. So it got us having to catch up on our winter preparations. I had to put my snow shovels in their assigned position. They were still in the hangar bay, and I had to break them out. Things like that. Had to get the winter coat and all that other good stuff. Had to get rushed out. Wasn't expecting to get quite what we got. So the winter preparations had to escalate, had to ramp up that a little bit faster. Kind of came in a little bit unexpected, but definitely needed. So everybody recovering from the madness that is the election from last week. Oh man, it's I'm not going to say I told you so, but it seems like things are going to be in us I told you so moment. In the we're getting the worst of the worst case. It seems like it's going to be worse than expected. Um, Biden winning was definitely a worst case scenario. And before everybody says, "Oh, but there's all these recounts and everything," like it's exactly the thing I warned about. The worst thing that can happen in a Biden win is all the electioneering and all the legalism they're going to get involved in trying to fight it. And it came in a different way than I kind of expected, but this all they're pushing, all this legal challenges in court and everything else is exactly how I see it, how I saw it playing out in any case. With they're going to be pushing all these legal remedies supposedly that gives going to give everybody false hope instead of getting off that train and getting on a new horse, riding the new horse, finding the third option to say it another way. People are going to stay on that horse. People are talking about Trump 24 and all kinds of other stuff. It's like people haven't seen the ball since kickoff. Like, come on, people, come on, man, as Joe would say. Oh, but it's quite. I mean, it's a shame. We kind of I kind of had a feeling Americans were stupid enough to elect Biden, but obviously I think there are shenanigans afoot. But as far as being able to challenge them and actually get remedy legally, I don't think is possible. But they're going to drag that horse for all it's worth. They're going to raise a lot of money off of it, everything else. So hopefully people are avoiding that scheme and that trap, because it's going to keep people sucked in for 3-4 years before they emerge to another puppet, basically, that they're going to nominate for something else, and they're going to have this political solution. If we survive that long, if the Wuhan doesn't get us all first, that 99.99% survivable virus is going to get us all. In the meantime, so I don't know. It's just bizarre how it's all kind of played out. Kind of had a big effect here in Nevada, or at least in Vegas, was directly involved in a lot of that, which we've talked about the Harry Reid machine before. That Harry Reid machine is churning away. It ain't nothing new. They've been putting the fix in for a long, long time down there, so they're good at it. The idea that they're going to get caught and busted is more laughable. But hopefully people will lose faith in the system more so and have a vote of no confidence. You know, a vote of no confidence is needed more than a vote to improve or modify the system. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully everybody's finding that third option route out of this. We got lots of people checking in there. See who all we got. We're getting ready for the winter here. Bikes and Bullets, what's up? Johnny Dunn, what's up, Johnny? ready to go on standby, right? Right on, Johnny. Hey, what's up, Walter? How you doing? Pennsylvania's in the crosshairs as well. And I mean, again, it's one of those places like Philadelphia. Like, who didn't know that Philadelphia was like one of the most corrupt places in the country, right? Like, how are you going to stop that? How do you think you're going to correct that? You know? Dad on YouTube, what is up? Ungrateful Peasant, how you doing, Wayne? No snow angels. Oh, we're not doing that. Wayne's lived long enough to be the villain. We're going to be the villain in this story, right? Yep, the road has turned on us, Wayne. I do believe. It's funny to see the Marxist ideology come to life. You've got that Congress critter Ocasio-Cortez, who's calling out everybody on Twitter, like all these different. She called out the Lincoln Project. She called out her own Democratic supporters of other congressmen and stuff. I think she called out Bernie Sanders, multiple other people who are either Democrats or Republicans, all types, and basically saying you're going to be liquidated if you don't get on board the train. You know, and it's like we've always said, the communists always use the useful idiots to get their means, and then they're basically expendable, and then they're tossed away with the trash later on in whatever the environment is, in whatever case. But she's going full bore Marxist in her language and stuff she's putting out on there on the Twitter, and she's got tons of support. Everybody's backing her, like, oh yeah, these people need to get on board the train to push these agendas, because they've been milk toast. You know, she's complaining about everybody's not been fully supportive of the agenda, and they better come around or else they're going to be liquidated. It's like, yeah, we told you, you useful idiots are going to be the first to go. You know what I'm saying? Lots of useful idiots out there. It's funny how the Antifa language has changed in a couple of the things over the weekend. They're like, both those presidential candidates can pack sand. They're here for the cause. They're ready to burn it all down. There was a lot of that chanting going on over the weekend from those folks, which we kind of expected, you know, assumed that was their agenda, you know. So yeah, just things just fall into place almost like you expected in some points, but just how it falls into place is kind of like the surprise, I guess you'd say. I know Dad was on here a second ago, and I think Dad predicted Trump would win. I think that's one of his few misses he got this year. Was that he had a lot of the other predictions right though. Yeah, we're at all-time highs on the stock market, Dad. That should do good for your investments, right? Or you had some prediction like that, like stock market would be all-time highs or something like that. I think you're going to be over the target on that one, unless we have something drastic. Bernie's been stabbed in the back more times than Caesar, says Wayne. Yeah, right. Well, he's kind of like the Ron Paul of their movement. You know, Ron Paul got multiple stabs in the back. Definitely. Did you? I thought in your video, Dad, that you did when you did your mid-year rundown. Trump was one of your predictions. I have to go check that. But yeah, you had a good solid record though. You're just having to finish up the year strong. 9 out of 10 ain't going to be bad if you do finish strong. The rich getting rich and the poor getting poor. Yeah, that's a fact. This inflationary process we're going through is definitely going to cause a lot of that. Definitely going to cause some problems as we see more inflation and higher prices on pretty much everything. Consolidation of business into corporate structures. Corporations basically taking everything over. More and more little shops, little small businesses going away. Going to keep coming. So I think you're going to be right about that one too, Dad, for sure. But hopefully everybody's got their winter stuff ready to go because it came out of the blue here on us. And don't be caught unaware. Came a little bit of a surprise for us. So the rest of you be warned. I guess on the East Coast it's pretty warm. Winter will slap you upside the head before you know it. Dad, you tried to buy some Bitcoin but couldn't figure out. Right? That's the problem with those newfangled Bitcoin wallets and everything else. It's all digital stuff on a computer. Again, if you get the opportunity to use Bitcoin as a investment tool, I guess it's possible that you could make some more money on the end. The Federal Reserve, we talked, I've mentioned several times, the Federal Reserve and the central banks are looking to put out an electric currency to own them all, so they can, that's kind of all been tested and stuff, and so they'll roll it out for everybody's safety and convenience. It'll be electronic currency for everybody. The day's probably coming. Right, bikes? For thing is, how do you fight it, right? Other than just not participate in it. It's definitely like people have been talking about over and over this week. Alex Jones has been right so many times. He needs to be owed a debt of gratitude. But people didn't listen. But we shall see how it continues. Again, it continues to unfold and fall into place. It's just how it unfolds is kind of surprising sometimes. It's like we got to 27 trillion in debt. Just kind of how we got there was a little different than we expected. Looking at it right now, when the next 4 years before the end of this Biden term, national debt's going to be around $50 trillion. It just has to be. It's baked in the cake. The math of fractional reserve banking and their interest rates and all that other stuff, the math adds up. You're looking at $50 trillion in national debt. Like, how long is China and these other countries going to toe that line, That's the big stick in the mud on the other end of that, and the big warning signal out there as these things fall into place, like continue to advance the ball, but something's got to end up bad in the end at some point, right? Let's see. I don't think anybody's had any social unrest in their area, which I kind of, in my worst case prediction, I was like, Biden winning is bad for the 90% of us. If there would if it would have been even if this legal stuff goes through and Trump somehow squeaks back in, 90% of us are going to be fine because we're not in the areas that are affected. But what I was kind of alluding to in the previous video about worst case is the federalized structures that are going to come down on the little people, and especially the people that comprise the independent minded, is going to be vast and swift, potentially. I mean, there's an army of lawyers and three-letter agency types just waiting to get unleashed on the people once again. They've kind of been restrained the last 3 years or so. I could imagine you could easily see things like the Bundys retried, things like that come about again as the agenda's unleashed. But to be determined. But I foresee a lot of federal agents wanting to get a lot of miles in to earn some more pay since they've been held back the last couple years, kind of stuck on office jobs and not quite been as active as they wanted to be. So as they let Antifa burn places to the ground, they're gonna want to get out and do some work. It's just what that work is and how it gets done is going to be the problem. So I just want to check in here and just let everybody know we're doing alive and well with the winter kicking in here. And do not be troubled with the signs you're seeing. It's kind of almost like expected. You know, it's going to be a contested election at some point, at some level, but it's all going to kind of wash out in a way that just to keep everybody divided and to keep everybody pointing fingers at each other instead of up, and putting the government on notice. Instead, everybody's blaming each other and, you know, pointing fingers. Libertarian Party is taking a lot of hits because Libertarian Party took, you took votes from the Republicans, you took votes from the Democrats. It's like, no, both of you suck. That's why nobody supported you. That's why the majority of people didn't vote at all, because there's no sense in it. There's nothing worth supporting, such as it is. So with that, folks, I just wanted to check in and get a few minutes in here to see who's around and put some thoughts down. Remind you that winter has arrived if it's not already in your area. But yeah, it looks like it's a worst case scenario. Prep accordingly. And if anybody makes a single video about going and buying guns and ammo, I'm just gonna report you for a bad video, I guess. That's the talk of that stuff is so far downrange and so far useless at this point. You know, it's not even worth commenting on. I don't want to get in an argument about it. That's 10 years ago information. If you're going to try to put out a video about how important it is to buy firearms and ammo at this point, the boat has sailed long ago, and I don't know what you're just trying to bump up sales for somebody else. I think there's a lot of other things that need to get done that don't involve that, and if you don't already have it, it may not. The scarcity is going to become a big problem in that arena for sure. And speaking of scarcity, we'll see how food shortages kick in this winter. This when we start feeling it. We'll see how that goes. But I think we all expected it based upon the different crops, flooding, all the different shortages. Food shortages are expected, or at least food scarcity, I think. And again, scarcity, going back to what we were talking about a while back, is more about you're not going to have the variety. There's going to be food. It's just not going to be what you're used to, or it's not going to be the select type that you like. You know, you're going to be narrowed down to, you know, a brand or a type of food versus the wide variety we're so used to. We'll see how that shakes out. But that's kind of my thoughts on that. It's going to be more scarcity than it is complete shortages. There's probably going to be enough for everybody, but you know, you're not going to be able to get chicken wings, but you'll be able to get chicken, for example. I don't know. I just had chicken on my mind because I think we just put 20 chickens in the freezer. We're looking pretty good. We got like 50 chickens we put in the freezer this fall, so we got plenty of chicken stuffed away. Got some turkeys we got to put in the freezer and get ready for Thanksgiving and all that other good stuff, and just continue to do the things. I think somebody asked about the animals earlier up there. I think it was maybe Walter. Animals are doing their thing. They provide what they need to provide. But yeah, folks, it's as real as it's going to get. It's just a matter of how it unfolds and being flexible to survive and thrive in the conditions, because I don't know that the political environment is designed to encourage the police state. It's going to encourage the not only hostilities between people, which emboldens the police state to crack down on people, but the Stasi environment of telling on your neighbors is going to be encouraged too. To from every little thing from dog catcher on up to the more serious stuff, trying to get people to get one over on their neighbor, on their friend, to gain points with their political class is going to be a real problem. Is a problem. Could potentially get worse. It was noted that just this weekend in New York City, multiple Jewish businesses shut down, fined over the weekend for violating the Wuhan virus protocols, right? What the city had put in place, but yet the large celebratory gatherings were allowed with no problem. It's all politically motivated, just about every bit of it. So, note to the wise, know that the political retribution is coming, and the communists are going to push it. That is their number one modus operandi. That's how they gain power and control. That's how they've always done it. That's how they've always silenced the majority. Really, is they put so much fear into them of being getting retribution from the state. Hey, Uncle Al, what's going on? Uncle Al's out there pumping out the videos. Good stuff. So, all right, YouTube, we got to get out of here. Y'all have a good day, good week. Enjoy your Veterans Day. All the veterans out there. Semper Fi's birthday's tomorrow. So we got to get that stuff in. But you know what to do. Prep hard. Live free.